and so it's still early. Not that I'm complaining, I'm just surprised that a fairy tale is released this early in translation. Hi, for those who are watching, as I just said, it's Fairy Tale, chapter 518. And let's just say this chapter is full of badass moments, fights, and just a moment that, however it will be solved, people will complain. First I'm gonna say this. As much as I want that theory to be true, the theory that a lot of people got when they heard that Irene was pregnant with Erza when she started to become like a dragon to be true. You know, there was that theory that said that is this the reason why Erza is so durable? Because, well, she's not a half human hybrid, but she has a dragon's durability. I mean, I can agree. If that would have been true, even I would have liked it if it had been like that. However, Fairy Tail is not that type of manga. So we have to drop that and just say sometimes willpower and strength is enough. And let's not just forget, even if she did not have the dragon durability, it's clear where Erza got her magic from. And you know what they say, the stronger your magic is in Fairy Tail, the stronger your durability is. So, now that we have complained about that, well, not complained, now that we have talked about that, let's just go to the true chapters, shall we? As I said, it's full of badass moments as now mother and daughter face off against each other. Oh, excuse me. Uh, Sorry, I just... Uh, that's embarrassing. I almost wanted to sneeze. As they now fight against each other, and well, Irene shows some amazing magic. Erza, being Erza, this is the same woman that could stand despite the fact that she were deaf once upon a time. Well, not because she was deaf, because she lost her senses. Shows just why she is badass. When she dons that Sarashi armor, she truly just focuses on her skills. And Irene has her villainous breakdowns even more now, saying like, I protected you for 400 years, and you weren't even useful when you were born. There were some who actually complained that a lot of things about Irene doesn't exactly make sense, given the fact that, as she has said, she protected Erza for 400 years. And then, yes, and then she just abandoned her when she wasn't useful anymore. Or because, well, why is she so fixated on Erza? As I said before, Fairy Tail is not that type of manga to explain this. I mean, it would have been good if they had explained this, but I know they will not explain it. I just have to think, I just think we have to go with our gut instincts. And I think the reason why she is so obsessed with Erza is because Erza is the ultimate reminder of the last hope she lost. As I said before, Irene became crazy. She became mad after everything she'd been through. Not to mention 3 years of torture and then finally being a dragon for so long, and then she was to turn back into a human, she just became even more insane. So why is she so obsessed with Erza? Because Erza is the ultimate reminder of a time when she was just a human. And she hates her for that. Also, it could very well be because Erza is the daughter of that man that tortured her. But, as I said before, Fairy Tail is not this type of manga that will explain stuff like this. Back on the chapter, Erza understands Irene's misery. After all, we cannot forget what Erza went through. I mean, Erza didn't suffer that much as Irene. I mean, Irene was 3 years of torture and humiliation, and then 400 years as a dragon. Although I still don't exactly think that 400 years as a dragon can be a misery. But then again, if you were a human and then became a dragon, then I guess it actually would be misery. But we cannot forget that Erza was caught and then she was being a slave for a cult. So yeah, mother and daughter are not so different. They were both captured and they were both tortured by fanatics. But unlike Irene, who surrendered to her despair and got crushed by her misery, Erza became who she is because that experience is because even though it is not as unpleasant as Irene's, she did say that she thought of the precious ones she loved, and thanks to that she became who she is right now. and she has the friends she has now. So even though Erza pity Irene, she still hates her for everything she taxes. And then Irene has a final villainous breakdowns and she moves back into her dragon form. So yeah, and then she makes quick work of Erza. And apparently Erza's body was just broken with just that one attack. And then she decides to show what her really power can do when she is a dragon. She, after all, she changed the landscape so she can even change space. She creates a attack. This actually sounds very similar to that Jalal attack that Jalal had, although he called it Semma. This apparently is called the Semma. I don't know if it is actually the same, but she sends a very, very, very big meteor on the way, and Erza herself says that it is greater than Jalal's magic, and she believes it hits everyone will die. So, but only her right hand can move. So she uses a magic that's I think she changes her hand into an armor that allows her that ability, and with that arm jumps up against the meteor. And even though Irene says a mere human cannot stop a meteor, she just says that people called me Titania. I have never cared so much about what they called me, but if you are the Queen of Dragons, then I'm the Queen of Fairies, and as the Queen who loves and protects everyone, even if my body is torn to pieces, I will protect them all. So she gathers a sword with her only hand that works as she begs her master to lend her strength. Irene actually seems to, for a moment, to be actually moved by that as she wonders what Erza's doing. Now it is Erza alone against the meteor, and I actually think I know how this will end. I mean, let's just think of it like this. If by some miracle, and this is how I hoped it would be, Erza actually stops the meteor, what will happen? Well, people will not stop complaining. They will all begin to say like, "Oh, a human stopped the meteor, it was the power of feelings," and blah 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 blah. For the last time, those people that complain. It's a fantasy manga. It's not meant to be realistic. I haven't seen people complain in other most well-known manga when someone else did that. What about Kenjiro and when he did the amazing stuff like that? Sometimes unreality has to happen, but I do not think that will happen. That's the obvious route. Given the title of the next chapter, it actually sounds like, is this gonna be how it seems to be? And that it will be that next chapter is called Show Me Your Smile. Is it very likely that Irene will be moved by what Erza has done? That the fact that despite Erza being a mere human, and despite the fact that she is completely worn out, and despite the fact that she has only one bone left in her body that can work, will Erza is it very possible that Irene will try to help her stop the meteor because she is actually moved by her daughter's kindness and her willpower? Because I said before, well, I probably didn't say this before, but I said somewhat that Erza and Irene are a bit different because unlike Irene, Erza did not surrender to her despair and her, well, hatred, so to speak. I mean, again, her past is not as torturous as Irene, but if there's one thing people can argue about is that we cannot always compare tragedy. I mean, take just one of the more famous mangas out there. The main characters have tragic pasts, one more tragic than the other. And the most obvious question is, who has the most traumatic past? And the thing is, well, here's the same. Technically, Irene's past is much more horrifying than Erza's, but at the same time, Erza's was not that lighthearted either. But it's also about that eternal question. As I said, it made me who I am today, meaning that you have to walk the path of misery, but it's up to you if you surrender yourself on the path or if you keep walking. If I walk that path, I will undoubtedly surrender because, well, I'm a guy of despair and I technically have already fallen into a path of self-pity and despair. Yes, because I sometimes feel life is not that awesome, and then people say to me, you have no right to feel that way. And in the end, they're right. And there's the same with Irene. She just refused to change because everything was denied to her. So what Erza does here may actually move her. And then she will sacrifice herself to stop that meteor, and then she will die. And I think that's why it's called Show Me Your Smile. Maybe Irene, before she dies, wants to see Erza's smile one last time. I think that's the obvious road what's gonna happen. And if it happens, at least people will not complain as much. But Erza's bone is completely broken, so I guess we can count out Erza after this is over. But all in all, awesome chapter, poetic moments, badass moments. Moreover, Erza is just so awesome being Erza. She never gives up. And I love that power of friendship there. Give me your thoughts if you have any.